Good morning, everyone. We have George Paton here for the conference call. Megan, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Patrick, and good morning, George. We'll begin with Zach Stevens of DNVR. Go ahead, Zach.
Hey, George, thanks for talking with us. Zach Stevens, DNVR. Could you talk about the decision to go with Karen Reed over Lavelle Bailey and just what you saw from him to make a push to make that 53-man roster?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Really, it wasn't, Perenne against Lavelle. We like both players. They're both here, obviously. Just speaking about Perenne, he's exactly what we saw in college. We've had some luck with these Utah guys. It's a credit to Coach Whittingham and the program he's had there, but he's mature, obviously went a mission. He's 25 years old, but smart, instinctive, nose for the ball, playmaker, urgent, going to be a good teamer, everything we want in a football player. And really Lavelle, we feel the same about. We feel the same about Lavelle, second year in the program, took that next step, playing Mike linebacker and got stronger, did everything in the offseason that we asked. And we feel like he's going to be a good player. We're high on both these players. And so we're lucky to have them both.
Parker Gabriel, the Denver Post.
Hey, George. I'm curious about, if it was obviously good players, what the process was like of getting to ultimately keeping 7 defensive linemen and just sort of, that group being a pretty clear strength of your roster. And then I guess added to that, it's the first time we've talked to you since Zach got extended. And so just what he means, as part of that group to your program and on the field.
Just we're trying to keep the best 53, and we've talked about a lot, building through the trenches, and we felt all 7 were really good players, and that's how we won last year, and that's how we want to win this year, offense and defensive line. So shame on us if we were to get rid of a really good defensive line player. And so in regards to Zach, Zach obviously makes this thing go up front. Has had a tremendous few seasons here, really good on the field, even better off the field. And so, obviously it was a priority to get Zach done. We feel good that he's going to be here hopefully for the rest of his career.
As a reminder to please mute your line if you are not speaking. We'll continue along with Mike Kliss of 9 News.
Yeah, George, Mike Kliss of 9 News. I was just taking, if you could, the overview of the roster. What do you like about it? And, is this a roster that's playoff caliber?
Mike, was that your phone that went off?
No, it wasn't. But I enjoyed Vic Lombardi's little diatribe there.
No, Mike, we like our roster. We like the depth of this roster. I think you could see that depth throughout the preseason. And we extended leads with our second and third phase. And how talented this roster is, we'll see. And I think, last year we were the 31st roster in the league, and we didn't believe that. And we do think we have a strong roster. And obviously that's day to day, that's week to week. But we feel we're strong in the trenches. Obviously, we feel like we have a franchise quarterback. We like the weapons we have on offense, and we play really good defense. And that's a recipe to win a lot of games. So we feel good about this roster.
Arnie Stapleton, Associated Press.
Hey, George, good morning. I wanted to ask you about extending Courtland Sutton and what he's meant to the growth of this roster under Sean, and then also, are you waiting for Micah Parsons to get the Benito deal done?
Yeah, Courtland, since I arrived, he's been a huge piece of this team, this organization. He's been through the ups, the downs, the injuries, and the lack of continuity, and the coaches, and he stayed the course, and he's been a leader despite all this. So it was really important, especially the way he played last year, to keep Courtland. We have a young room. I think it's Court, and then the rest are 24, 25 and below. And so he sets the tone really for that room. He sets the tone for this offense. And so it was really important to keep him. And, as far as any other stuff, we're just going to, we've done a good job of keeping these things quiet and respectful. We're just going to keep it that way.
Eric Dalala, DenverBroncos.com.
Yeah, hey, George. Hey, George. Eric Dalala, DenverBroncos.com. I know we haven't seen a ton of Greenlaw, but in terms of Hufanga, Ingram, Sherfield, Dobbins, just what have been your early impressions of those guys that you went out and added in free agency?
Yeah. first of all, these guys, and it's hard to know until they're in your building, but just the leadership they bring. And, we thought we had a really good locker room, and they just add to the locker room. So we're really excited about that. And then on the field, really everything and then some. When you talk about Ingram, just the mismatch ability and what he can bring to our offense, attacking the middle of the field and sure field. We liked him as a receiver. He didn't have a lot of production. We loved him on teams. We liked him in the run game, but yet you see some of the receiving skills. And so that's really been a plus for us. J.K. Dobbins, again, you knew him as a player, respect him as a player, did him Ohio State, Baltimore Chargers. So much respect for him as a player. But, I mean, he was here a day or two, and he already had command of the room, the offense, the team. This guy is true edge, true leadership, and so that's been really important, a great addition. And then Hufanga is the same. We heard it all until you see it, on the field, off the field. You really don't believe it, but he's got it all, and we feel good about him, the movement, the play at safety, the anticipation, ball skills, playmaking, and he just settles things down on the back end. And I'm sure I left someone out. Who did I leave out? Is that it?
Just what I know Greenlaw hasn't been out there in any game action, but
Dre, Dre's outstanding. Outstanding tone setter. When he's in that huddle, when he's in that locker room, everything we could have hoped for and more.
Jeff Legwold, ESPN.
George, I'm just curious if you could, Sean went into it a little bit the other day, but just expand on the decision to let Estimé go and if the practice squad was ever a consideration for him.
Yeah, big fan of Audric, and I thought he had some moments last season. We drafted Audric; he was 20 years old. You don't see that very often, and we knew he'd take some development, and he did develop. I like the way he finished against New Orleans. The bottom line, we were just able to keep 4, and it's hard to keep more than that. And we just wish him the best. He's going to be a really good pro. I think he's with the Eagles. And, again, we just wish him the best.
Kyle Fredrickson, The Gazette.
Hey, George, I'm just curious what you value most about your working relationship with Greg Penner and also just how involved he's been in some of the football decisions that you've had to make.
Yeah, Greg, is a great sounding board for me, for Sean. He's here daily. He's involved in every decision, every big decision. Greg's done it all in the business world. He's learned the football world. He's the smartest guy in the room, no matter what room you walk into. So it's really valuable for Sean and I. And so, again, just an outstanding sounding board for decision making, roster management. He and Kerry both have been outstanding for us.
Nick Kosmider, The Athletic.
Hey, George, I'm just curious now that we're almost 5 years into these, kind of practice squad expansion that was sort of a result of COVID. How have you seen that aid with development, both of your own team and of players across the league? Sean talked the other day about how he kind of thinks that's one of the, the endearing positives from the COVID season. But how has that kind of changed things for you as you've seen it grow over the last 5 years?
I think it's been great, and it's one of the positives of COVID. To expand the practice squad, you have 16, and really that's an expansion of our 53. We consider those guys a part of the 53. A lot of these guys, much like last year, are going to play. It just gives players who aren't quite there a chance to develop, and I think that's really good for the league. You could go around the league, you could go around different rosters of players that have really taken off, and due to the development on practice squad, I think it gives the teams flexibility. Now that you can elevate players and they can get a taste of what it's like into a game. So I think it's been great for the players. I think it's been really good for the teams and the league.
Andrew Mason, The Fan.
Andrew Mason, DenverSports.com. Hey, George, I wanted to ask you about the development of your mid-round players specifically and how you think they've come along so far. Pat Bryant, Savion Jones, and Q Robinson.
Yeah. I think they're all on track. All these rookies develop at different paces. I think our guys are probably ahead of the curve right now. You look at Pat Bryant and how mature he is, not only as a route runner, but just, in the meeting rooms on the practice field, but routes, hands, size, strength, big playability, 50-50 balls. and then you see him blocking. And so, he's ahead of schedule. It's never been, one thing about Pat, it hasn't been too big for him, since he walked in the door. Q, he was raw when we got him. He's still raw, but you see the flashes, you see the talent, especially, that last game, against New Orleans. But he's had flashes every game. He's had flashes in the practice. Just a really talented kid who wants to be great, and I think he'll help us this year. And then, Savion, man, he does the dirty work inside. He's developing a pass rush arsenal. He's right on track to play this year. So we're really excited about all those three players.
Aaron McKee?
George, did Sam Ehlinger have opportunities to be on a 53 for other teams? And do you expect him to bounce back and forth from the practice squad to the Broncos 53 throughout the course of the season?
Yeah, I know he had an opportunity out there. I'm not exactly sure what. It was a priority for us to keep Sam, either on the 53, or we consider him a 53-man player. Sam's been outstanding since he showed up. Always been high on Sam at Texas, and then you watch him at the Colts. He didn't play a whole lot there, but you watch the preseason. And then when you got him here, he was better than I anticipated, and always been a good athlete. I thought he was always efficient. I didn't realize he had the arm strength, and I think he's developed that arm strength over the last couple of years, and he played really well. We're glad he's here. We know teams are after him, and we plan on keeping him here.
Brandon Cristal, Guerrilla Sports.
Hey, George, this is the first time we talked to you since I think Kelly got her promotion. So I'm curious kind of where things or how that unfolded, and then just your entire front office as it was restructured, how they helped in various new roles or new people coming in and building the team throughout the spring and to where we're at now.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly, she's really the glue that keeps the whole, this football operation together, valuable to me, but really everyone across the organization. So well-deserving of a promotion. And obviously we lost some key members here, and yet we replaced them, with Cam Williams from the outside, and Jordan Dizon, and we promoted from within a number of staff members. But I think it was important to get some outside, some new ideas, outside perspective, and they've really brought that. Cam, from his time in New England, he's won Super Bowls. Jordan Dizon won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, and we love our process, but it's really important to adapt and evolve. I think we've been able to do that, with bringing in the new, and then some of the, the Brian Chesson stepping up into the college director role and just putting his stamp on it, the way he wants to run it, not the way we've always done it. And so I'm really excited about this staff, but in particular, Kelly.
We'll do our final two questions. Cody Rourke, go ahead.
Cody Rourke, Mile High Sports. George, we've seen such a big jump, at least in practice, from Troy Franklin from our observation in the preseason. What have you seen from him, knowing where he was at last year as a rookie, trying to pick things up to now?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, he had a really good offseason and getting stronger. And, we stay in phase one for 5 weeks, and that gives the players the opportunity to lift, get stronger. They're not focused on meetings. They're not focused on football. And I think that was really important for Troy to get stronger. And then, he took that momentum into training camp. And the biggest thing with Troy is the confidence. He's not thinking as much. Last year you could tell he was thinking, and now he's playing fast. He's playing urgent, the confidence. You see the big plays, the ball skills, the hands, and so he's just developing right in front of our eyes, and that's a credit to him and the work that he's put into it.
Final question, Luca Evans, the Denver Post.
Hey, George, just kind of given, not getting into the nitty-gritties here, but given the amount of financial considerations that you guys have on the defensive line, that many pieces, what do you guys view right now as kind of the future of John Franklin Myers with this group? And is that kind of a difficult position that you're in with him in terms of evaluating what his future here is in Denver?
Yeah, John is a really good player. Man, big bonus. We were able to get John last year, and like a number of other of our players in the final year of their deals, we'd like to have them all back. And John's no different. But we have a number of players, and it's a puzzle. It's kind of like your roster management, like the 53-man. And so we're working through a lot of that now, but we're excited to have John Franklin. We're excited to have, Wattenberg and a lot of these guys in the last years of their deals. So,
George, that wraps up the queue. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.